So let's jump right in. You might think that business degree has you covered for any boardroom, anywhere in the world. But today, we're going to add a whole new chapter to your playbook, and it's all about doing business in one of the world's most exciting economies, South Korea. Okay, I want you to picture this. You're in a sleek high-rise in the heart of Seoul. The deal of the year is right there on the table. You've got your spreadsheets, your logic, your killer strategy. But what you're about to find out is that the most important tool you need isn't something they taught you in business school.
And that's where we hit our first big idea, what we're calling the MBA blind spot. Look, those programs are incredible for teaching you analytics and strategy, no doubt. But they often have this massive gap when it comes to the unique and, let's be honest, emotional landscape of Korean business.
And just look at this comparison, it's pretty stark, right? Western business education hammers home data-driven logic and, being the star player. But in Korea, there's this huge emphasis on intuition, like gut feeling, and making sure the whole group is in sync. It's not about shining by yourself, it's about winning as a team.
So how in the world do you bridge that gap? Well, the first step is to understand what's really at the heart of Korean business. And spoiler alert, it has almost everything to do with emotion.
The key to all of this is one word, kibun. It basically means a person's mood or their emotional state. Now, in a lot of Western offices, showing emotion can be seen as, unprofessional. You're told to check it at the door. But in Korea, engaging with and respecting your counterpart's kibun isn't just polite, it's a fundamental business skill. It's absolutely non-negotiable.
And this means if a meeting suddenly gets a little heated or passionate, don't panic. Seriously, don't think the deal is falling apart. It's often the exact opposite. It's an invitation to connect, to show that you're actually invested. It's a really good sign of engagement.
Okay, so if you have to be aware of kibun, you need a way to actually, see it, right? And that leads us to the next essential skill, learning how to master the unspoken rules of the room.
So here's the million-dollar question. How do you actually do that? How are you supposed to read all these subtle emotional currents when nobody is spelling it out for you?
The answer is another crucial word, nunchi. Honestly, this is your superpower in the Korean business world. It's the art of reading the room, of listening to what isn't being said, of just sensing the vibe. People have called it the secret to Korean success, and for good reason. It is absolutely vital. So how do you get this superpower? Well, it's not some kind of magic. It's a skill, something you can actually practice. It's all about shifting your focus. You need to pay way more attention to body language and tone of voice. And number 2 is huge. Listen more than you speak. Don't feel like you have to fill every silence. Watch how the group interacts, who looks at who before speaking. And finally, just be aware of those sudden shifts in energy. You're basically listening with your eyes, not just your ears.
All right, let's take all of this and apply it where the deals are won or lost, the negotiating table. Because when you mix kibun and nunchi, you get a dynamic that can feel like a total paradox to someone trained in Western business.
You have to be ready for this because it can be wild. Your Korean partners might absolutely dig in their heels on something that seems totally minor, like a tiny detail in a timeline. But then a few minutes later, they're suddenly super flexible on a major contract term worth millions. So what's going on? That minor point was never really about the point itself. It was a test. It was a way to see if you respected their kibun, to see if you were willing to engage and build a relationship. The whole negotiation is less of a logical back and forth and more of a dance to build trust. Your data is important, sure, but their intuition about you as a person, that's what's really driving the conversation.
So, let's pull all this together. We've talked about the problem, we've uncovered the cultural keys. Now it's time to build your new playbook with some real, concrete strategies.
Here it is, your new 5-point plan. Number 1, embrace emotion. Don't run from it. 2, actively work on your nunchi. Make it a practice. 3, don't be afraid of those passionate debates. See them as an opportunity. 4, always show empathy and consideration, even when you disagree. And finally, number 5, learn to balance your spreadsheets with your gut feeling. Because at the end of the day, and this is probably the most important thing to remember, the goal isn't just a signed piece of paper. The real win is the relationship itself. In Korea, a strong, trust-based relationship is the foundation for everything that comes next. The profit is just a byproduct of that human connection.
And that really brings us to the final crucial point. Your MBA, your credentials, yeah, they'll get you in the door, but it's your emotional intelligence, your ability to understand kibun and use nunchi, that's going to help you close the deal. In the boardrooms of Seoul, that wisdom is what truly counts.